So, I guess what do we do with this information? Now that we've talked about these things, I guess, think big. You know, an iceberg, from the normal perspective that we have, is just a little tip. You know, and people have used this analogy for years and years and years, just the tip of the iceberg. Well, it's true. Icebergs are humongous underneath. It's just that little part that bobs above the water that we see. So let's think big about what can we do to really raise the bar. What can we do to really make a difference in how our customers think about us, how they think about not us, you know, corporately, but also individually or personally. And you know, sometimes it'll require some personal sacrifice, a little bit of extra work, but being creative and trying to think outside the box a little bit, getting a different perspective, can bring new things to your customers that they want. And you know, maybe you tried it 10 years ago and it didn't work. That doesn't necessarily mean it may not work this time. I've heard people say, oh, we tried that in 1967 and it didn't work. Well, it's 2010, maybe it'll work now. And, you know, and not being afraid to try things, not being afraid to fail, not being afraid to be creative and to take a few risks and step out, and think about how can you serve your customers. And they'll thank you for it. They truly will thank you for it. Putting a smile on your customer's face. That's really what that's really why we're here. Dr. Bob gave me a nice new smile, and I look forward to talking to him and telling him I kind of mentioned him in this talk. It is kind of weird looking into that magnifying glass, I admit. But I want you to think about this genius from last century, Walt Disney. How many of you have been to Disney World or Disneyland? Okay? Almost everybody looks like it. And what's that? Walt Disney, creative genius. And not only was he a good artist, but he was a visionary, and he liked to think big. And I love this saying. I've thought about this many times, and I've quoted him on this so many times. Do what you do so well that they'll want to see it again and bring their friends. And it's true. 13 times in my dentist in 2 months, and I still would like to take all of you and introduce you to Dr. Bob. He's a great guy. The whole staff there swears. I know you're getting tired of hearing about Dr. Bob, but you know, he's a great person. He's fun to talk to. He's enjoyable. He's an incredible dentist. He's got a great reputation. And you know, interestingly, he's not in my insurance plan. So I have to pay a lot out of pocket to go to Dr. Bob. As opposed to having most of it covered by insurance, I pay out of pocket to go to Dr. Bob when I could go down the street to Dr. XYZ. I don't know. I pay extra for that because it's worth it. And there's a value there that it's hard to quantify. It's really hard to put your finger on what that's worth or how important it is. Any ice fishermen in the room, or ice fisher ladies in the room? Got a couple? Okay. I'm assuming you don't ice fish down here very often. You probably go northern a little bit?
No, I do.
Oh, right here local? Okay.
About 1 day a year.
1 day a year, okay. 1 day of the year, okay. You know, if you go up north, and as a manufacturer's rep, I rep 15 states with one product and the whole country with the others. But I've been up in Minnesota and in the Dakotas and up into Saskatchewan and Manitoba and Canada, and they do a lot of ice fishing in the wintertime. And it's crazy to see, you know, a city built on the ice and all these pickup trucks and all this. But I want to tell you about this young boy, Billy. Billy walks out on the ice. He's got his little power auger that his dad bought him for Christmas. And he goes out and he drills a hole just right down the way from some other ice fishermen that are over there. And all these other guys are kind of like, yeah, little Billy, he's out, isn't he cute? They haven't been catching anything all day. Little Billy sits down, boom, catches a fish. Pulls it up, unhooks it, plops it out on the ice. That one will be good for dinner. Baits up, right back in, boom, catches another fish. He does this like 5 times. Finally, a couple of these guys over here, these men walk over and go, Billy, what are you doing? How are you doing this? And he says, mm-hmm. And they said, what was that, Billy? We didn't understand. He says, mm-hmm. Billy, I'm sorry, son, but we can't understand what you're saying. He says, you got to keep your worms warm. All the mothers in the room go, yeah. The guys are going, yeah, that's pretty cool. But see, Billy understands the point here. Okay? Billy understands the point. Aren't you glad I said that joke before or after lunch? Okay. Billy understands this, and this is vitally important. Billy understood that if all those other guys over there are using jigs and frozen fish, and he goes, I'm going to give them something different. I'm going to keep these worms warm, and guess what? It produced one. Now that's an old ice fishing joke that if you're up north, you hear it all the time. Okay, but I think it's a perfect illustration of thinking outside the box a little bit, and trying to look for new ways that we can give our customers what they want. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I hope it gave you one or two, three little things that you might be able to glean from it. And that handout has got my email address. If you ever have any questions, feel free to email me. I'd be happy to respond. And thank you very much. It was a real pleasure being here with you. Thank you. God bless you all.